Namaskar. Today we will have the demonstration on the gross anatomy of lungs. So one by one we have to describe about the different gross anatomical landmark of the lung, site determination of the lung, pleura and the applied part. So as we know, lungs is the organ of respiration which is present on the either side of the mediastinum, and it is covered by the serous membrane known as the pleura. So the pleura is just like the pericardium and the peritoneum, which is lined by the mesothelium, and this pleura is covering both lungs, on the either side, and it has two layers. The outer layer is known as the parietal pleura. The inner layer, which is adherent to the lung, is known as the visceral pleura or the pulmonary pleura. So the potential space between the two pleura is known as the pleural space. Then the parietal pleura, according to the name, it is the apical part, is the coastal part, the mediastinal part, and the diaphragmatic part, which is lying in the base. The arterial supply and the nerve supply is similar to the thoracic wall, whereas the pulmonary pleura, which is present or which is adherent all sides of the lung along with the fissures and the different lobes, but absent in the hilum, and it is reflected and adhered to the parietal pleura to form the pulmonary ligament on the medial surface. So there is a negative pressure and there is a pleural fluid, which helps to reduce the friction during the expansion of the lungs. In the apical portion, the cervical pleura, there is an adherent of the suprapleural membrane. So it is also known as the sepsion fascia. So the first task for today's lecture is to know what is the sepsion fascia, the attachment and the function. So first you have to know it is attached in the apical portion of the lungs along with the pleura. Coming to the gross anatomy of the lungs, the right side and the left side, there is a difference. In the right side, you can see the two fissures. One is the oblique fissure. You can see the oblique fissure is common in both right lung and the left lung, and the horizontal fissure. And this horizontal fissure will divide the lung into the upper lobe, wedge-shaped middle lobe, and the lower lobe in the right lung. But in case of the left lung, only one fissure is there, the oblique fissure is there, and it divides the lung into the upper and the lower. So there is no any middle lobe. So the gross anatomy, it is the apex, the conical projection, and this conical projection is just above the medial end of the clavicle, about 1 inch, and 5 centimeters above the first coastal cartilage. So it is nearer to the supraclavicular fossa in the root of the neck. Then it is the base. The base is rest on the diaphragm, and this diaphragm is separating the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity, and the right lung is related with the right lobe of the liver, whereas the left diaphragmatic surface of the base is related with the left lobe of the liver, the fundus of the stomach, and the spleen on the left side. It has the three border: the anterior border, which is very thin; the posterior border is ill-defined and is broad, and the inferior border, which is separating the base from the mediastinal and the coastal surface. So remember, three border: anterior border, posterior border, and the inferior border. On the upper end of the anterior border, you can see the apex on the medial side is related with the subclavian artery. On the outer side, it is related with the first rib. So it is very important, the impression of the subclavian artery. On the left side, the anterior border is very thin, but it is interrupted with the cardiac notch, and this cardiac notch is at the level of the T4 coastal cartilage, and below this notch it is related, there is a term known as the lingula. The tongue-shaped part of the lung, which is representing the middle lobe in the left lung. Now coming to the surface, it is the costal surface and the medial surface. The costal surface is related with the costal cartilage and the ribs, okay, the intercostal spaces, whereas the medial surface, it is the two part. The posterior part is known as the vertebral surface. The anterior is mainly consists of the mediastinal surface and along with the root of the lung. So the posterior surface on the both side, right and the left, it is related with the thoracic vertebra, intervertebral discs, posterior intercostal artery, and the nerves, the splenic nerves. Whereas the mediastinal surface, it mainly consists of the impression of the different structure in the mediastinum, which is related to mediastinum. It is difference. There is a difference in the impression on the right side with the left side. So the right side, the major impression you can see here, you can see the impression of the heart, that is the right atrium and the auricle. Then you can see here the impression of the inferior vena cava. You can see the impression of the superior vena cava here. Then you can see the lower part of the brachiocephalic vein, right side and the left side. You can see both brachiocephalic vein, you can see in the impression here. Then you can see the impression of the trachea. Posterior to it, it is related with the esophagus. And two important nerves which is related just anterior to the root is the right phrenic nerve, and posterior to root is the right vagus nerve. Now coming to the impression of the left lung, again the similar impression, you can see the cardiac impression, and it is related with the left ventricle. You can see the descending thoracic aorta, impression for the descending thoracic aorta, arch of aorta, also just below it there is a pulmonary trunk, okay, and the branches of the pulmonary trunk. Again you can see the some impression of the trachea, and posterior to it the esophagus. And three nerves you can see. The anterior, you can see the left phrenic nerve, posterior you can see the left vagus nerve, and also there is a left recurrent laryngeal nerve, which is branch of the vagus nerve. So left recurrent laryngeal nerve is present on the left side, it is absent in the right side. So this is again the task 2, why there is no impression or no relation of the right recurrent laryngeal nerve in the thoracic cavity or in the lungs. So this is a task 2 for you. Now coming to the root of the lung. The root of the lung is the broad pedicle which joins the lung with the mediastinum. So it mainly consists of the content. You can see there is a bronchus, the pulmonary artery, you can see the pulmonary veins, you can see the two pulmonary veins, superior and the inferior, and you can see the bronchial arteries, one bronchial artery in the right side, whereas the two bronchial artery on the left side. Then the vessels, the lymphatic vessels, you can see the lymph node, areolar tissue, and the fat. So these are main content of the root, and this root is at the level of the T5, T6 and the T7 vertebra, and the lower part is there is a reflection of the parietal pleura known as the pulmonary ligament. So this is for the expansion of the it creates the space or the dead space for the expansion of the pulmonary vein during the inhalation. So this is very important, provide the space for the, and it is mainly formed by the parietal pleura. So when we have the relation of the right side and the left side in the root, you can see the relation is, again you can see the similar relation from anterior to posterior, okay. So you can see the superior pulmonary vein, then you can see the pulmonary artery and the bronchus, okay, on both sides. But when you see from superior to inferior relation in the root, the first is the hip arterial bronchus, then the pulmonary artery, hip arterial bronchus and the inferior pulmonary vein, where you can see again in the left lung you can see the from before backward or anterior to posterior, you can see the superior pulmonary vein, then artery you can see, this artery, and this is the bronchus. So again you can see from superior to inferior, arterial pulmonary artery, bronchus, and the inferior pulmonary vein. So there is slight difference in the superior to inferior relation, but there is a similar relation from anterior to backward. Now coming to the bronchopulmonary segment. Now coming to the important the subtopic for the lungs. Okay, we commonly ask the bronchopulmonary segment. So as you know, the trachea is divided into the two primary bronchi, and you can see the two primary bronchus is on each side will divide it into the secondary bronchus, and secondary is again divided into the tertiary. So the tertiary bronchus is aerated the area of the lung that is known as the bronchopulmonary segment. So in the OSCE we ask what is bronchopulmonary segment and the importance. So bronchopulmonary segment are the area of the lung which is anatomically, surgically, and the functionally independent. It has your own artery and the tertiary bronchus, but the vein is intersegmental, and the importance is the helps in the surgical resection, and also you can see it prevent the spread of the infection. But in the applied part you can see the tuberculosis and the bronchogenic carcinoma is also spreading beyond the bronchopulmonary segment. So anatomically you can see in the right lung and the left lung there are 10 bronchopulmonary segments. So the name you can see in the upper part, in the upper lobe, the bronchopulmonary segment you can name as the apical, anterior, and the posterior. In the middle lobe, which is wedge shape, the medial and the lateral. Okay, and in the posterior, with the larger lobe, you can see it as the superior, anterior basal, posterior basal, medial basal, and the lateral basal. So out of altogether you can see there is a 10 bronchopulmonary segment on the right side and the left side. The name is similar in the upper lobe and the lower lobe, but in the lingula, okay, which is representing as same as the middle lobe, in the left lobe, the name is the bronchopulmonary segment is the superior lingula and the inferior lingula. Okay, so the important again is it helps to prevent the spread of the infection, and it is important in the surgical resection of the lungs. Now coming to the applied part of the gross anatomy of lungs. Regarding the applied anatomy, in the pleura you can see the pleural space or the cavity may fill with the fluid known as the pleural effusion. Then there may be the cavity may be filled with the blood known as the hemothorax, or the air known as the pneumothorax. The combination of the fluid and the air you can see the hydropneumothorax. So there you have to do the pleural tapping, or known as the paracentesis thoracis. So it is usually done on the mid-axillary line, okay, in the mid-axillary line, which is present at the 8 intercostal space, in the lower part of the 8 intercostal space, to prevent the injury to the neurovascular bundle. Now coming to the applied anatomy part of the trachea, you can see at the T4 vertebra there is a angulation. Okay, you can see there is a right bronchus and the left bronchus. Right bronchus is shorter, wider, and more alignment with the trachea. So the foreign body can obstruct in right side more than the left side, and there is a more chance of the infection there. And regarding the lung, I have already mentioned about the applied part of the bronchopulmonary segment. Thank you very much.